The McDonald's hamburger, baseball games with hot dogs, and backyard barbecues with the family. Meat has found itself at a cultural cornerstone of America. But what if I told you these same delectable meats were the cause of many of our concerns we face as a society today? Look, we all grew up with meat in the house. Breakfast sausage in the morning, a ham sandwich for lunch, a steak or a hot dog for dinner. But today, I'm going to persuade you to reduce or cut out meat consumption in your diet. First, I'm going to convince you that meat is bad for your personal health. Then, we'll talk about how meat has negative consequences for the environment. And lastly, we'll discuss some benefits and myths of a plant-based diet. Meat is truly a devil in disguise when it comes to your personal health. In fact, eating red meat and processed meat is tied to many diseases. Author Godfrey, in his 2018 article, Meat Consumption, Health, and the Environment, remarks, the World Health Organization classified red meat as carcinogenic to humans. Meat is literally cancer-causing in our bodies. In that same site, Godfrey also says meat has ties to increases to stomach cancer, cardiovascular disease, and diabetes. But it extends even farther than that. Today, swine flu, Ebola, bird flu, and now COVID-19. The reason we're all stuck in our homes today after 2 months of waiting around, well, they all have origins to meat consumption and wet markets. Clearly, we're getting our hands dirty when we eat meat. But personal consumption isn't the only problem when it comes to health. We are overusing antibiotics in our livestock when we feed them to help fight off diseases and sicknesses. And while this is originally a good thing, it's now creating superbugs, notably MRSA, that we cannot fend off. Carlett, author of 2012 volume Ready for a World Without Antibodies, declares, in the USA, MRSA alone is associated with a staggering 90,000 infections and 19,000 deaths annually. That is one superbug that has come from overusing antibodies. It's very clear that eating meat is bad for our personal health and consumption. But humans aren't the only ones suffering from eating meat. Mother Nature is as well. Our environment is taking deadly blows from deforestation, water, and greenhouse gases. Meat demands lots of land. Smil, author of 2013 book, Should We Eat Meat? Evolution and Consequences of Modern Carnivory explains, roughly a quarter of the ice-free continental surfaces are used for livestock raising, and a third of arable land is planted for feed crops, responsible for most of tropical deforestation and degradation of soils. In fact, it's about 70% of deforestation is attributed to animal agriculture. So when you see in our tropics getting mowed down and deforested, it's largely because of our diets. It also puts a massive strain on water. Webster's 2010 book, The Meat Crisis, Developing More Sustainable Production and Consumption, finds an industrialized nation meat eater's diet uses 3,600 liters of water per day, and switching to a vegetarian diet reduces one's food-related footprint by 36% alone. So when you talk about, oh, how can I save water? Well, maybe turning off the faucet, while that is a great thing while you brush your teeth, it clearly does not make as large of an impact as switching your diet does. And lastly, the greenhouse gases. Animal agriculture contributes about half of the world's methane emissions. It is a very potent greenhouse gas that's largely contributing to climate change today. So, first, I convinced you that eating meat was bad for your personal health. And then we talked about the negative consequences of eating meat for the environment. Let's now transition into some benefits of dropping meat. A meatless diet is energetically superior, as Smil's 2006 book Energy declares, Herbivory has clear energetic advantages, and in all modern ecosystems, the animals with the largest bodies are mega herbivores. When you reduce the number of energy conversions that have to occur to eat meat, as in instead of eating the animals that eat the plants, you directly eat the plants, you get more bang for your buck. It's science. But it's not just that. In fact, the meatless diet is accessible today. We now live in a world where there are entire sections in our standard grocery stores devoted to meatless substitutes. Here's one. Here are just a few items that I have personally gotten from a single store. And with that, I'm getting more than enough of my protein needs. It's simply not true when people say that I'm not getting enough protein. Well, where are you going to get your protein from when you're a vegetarian? Just in this alone, just in one item, I'm getting 100% of my protein needs. So let's focus and have educated conversations when you talk about a meatless diet. The fact is that yes, you can get all the nutrients and protein needs from dropping meat. So today we talked about 3 reasons why you should drop and reduce your meat consumption. Firstly, I convinced you that eating meat had detrimental consequences for your personal health, spreading disease. Then I persuaded you that eating meat was bad for the environment when it came to deforestation, greenhouse gases, and water usage. And lastly, we briefly discussed the facts that dropping meat is sustainable and it's actually energetically advantageous. Look, the meatless diet is one without moral dissonance. You can eat in a diet knowing that you are mitigating climate change, supporting your personal health, and limiting world suffering. Whatever your motivation, whether health, environmental, or otherwise, I strongly urge you to engage in thoughtful discussions, do your own research, and consider dropping your meat consumption. Thank you.